Open LMS, and let's say the other brands as well, eThink, eCreators, the Learning Group, writ large, has made a pretty fantastic, and but you've created waves again today by saying you're going full open source. Phil, why don't you, there's a couple of excellent press releases out there. There's a statement from your CEO of the Learning Group. There's a couple other statements out there about what this means for customers and whatnot. Why don't you maybe give us a little bit of a background as to where this came from, and we'll go into what this means for clients, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, the background is, we're in a unique position. You and I have talked about this before, Stephen, where we really do control our own destiny now, and so we became an independent company with Learning Technologies Group, and as we brought these other companies together, we just realized that the things that we thought were important about our business aren't really the fact that we have a couple of plugins that nobody else has. It's that we're going to deliver exceptional customer service, and we're going to innovate through service and the way that we do business. And so the idea of releasing those to the public, getting the community, that just made sense. And now it was also, I'll just be very blunt, it was accelerated by, unfortunately, a tough situation with Moodle Workplace, right? Where Moodle Workplace is GPL code, but it has some language around it that I don't know that anybody fully agrees on what the story is with that. But and we're not going to make a big deal out of that. We're just going a different way, right? We're going to be really clear that about what we're open sourcing and what we're not. And so just to be clear, we are open sourcing all of our modules for teaching and learning for what was called Learnbook. We're now calling it Open LMS Work, and for Open LMS EDU, the historic Open LMS product. There are three things we're not going to open source, right? And very explicitly, those are things that customers have had us build on top of Moodle that they don't want us to open source because they have trade secrets or whatever. I don't think that one's controversial. We're not going to open source our hosting code for how we host thousands and thousands of sites at scale. One, that's not even Moodle code. It's written in a bunch of other stuff and whatever. And then the third is we've built some technologies that kind of have some Moodle code in them, but it's mostly connected to how we integrate with other platforms like HRISs and student information systems. And those are the three things that we believe are important and not open source for our business model. But everything else, let's let the community have it. And to be really clear, we understand that means that our competitors can go take those things and run them and use them for their clients. And we believe that our service and the value that we provide means that we don't think clients are going to leave us over this. In fact, the response that we're getting from our clients, even in the first 24 hours, has been phenomenal. It gives them more control. It's why they chose open source in the first place. To be fair, we probably should have done this a long time ago, but we didn't always control our own destiny, right? We weren't always an independent company. We didn't have the influence of great team members like the folks that came to us from eCreators and eThink. And so that great kind of Moodle mind meld, if you will, kind of led us down this path, and it's super exciting.
What about the, just I want to reiterate for everybody who hasn't read any of the articles or anything, this is, basically Open LMS and everything that eThink and eCreators has done before, like it's now being made public to, as in an open source fashion, except for those three things that you just mentioned earlier. And so it's, it's resting on the laurels of that business model of customer performance. What, as I read over the CEO statement earlier today before our conversation, it was really interesting. The Moodle Workplace piece really was kind of the straw, let's say, that broke the camel's back. And your response to that is what I find really interesting is, hey, if you're using Moodle Workplace, we'll support you, to do that. We're going to open source Learnbook, and we're calling it Open LMS Work, correct? Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, Open LMS Work. And then, hey, if what I thought was really interesting, the third bullet point was like, look, if you want to keep doing that and you want to go to a different vendor, we'll help you do that too. Like that's a really interesting piece there.
Well, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, our success is 100% predicated on the success of our clients. And so what good would it do to tell a client that really specifically needs something that's in Moodle for Workplace and absolutely wants that, that they can't do that? That doesn't help us at all. We just would have an angry client, and that just does, that's just not in the ethos of who we are. So yeah, for sure, we're talking. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons that Brian's not joining me on this call today. He's He's working with some of the other folks that might help some of those people that want to stay on Moodle Workplace. The other part of it is also true though. Some of the clients that we've notified them. I mean, the clients that are on Moodle Workplace got a notification earlier than the rest of the world about that this was happening, and many of them have said to us, "Oh, like I really want something that's fully open source. That doesn't have any of these. I don't want to be locked in to something that I have to exist within these, people that are premier Moodle partners." So at the end of the day, it's choice. To be really clear, we also support, I think, 20 some Totara clients, and we just demoed Totara for a client yesterday. If you have specific needs for a specific project, for a specific set of features or functionality, we're happy to support you in that. It's one of the reasons that we're really disappointed we didn't get an agreement done with Moodle for Moodle Workplace, because we do have some clients that we think that's probably the right solution for. So it's we want to help our clients be successful.
What about internally? Did I want to, again, another piece from the CEO statement that I thought was interesting is that, through, I think it's August 31st, basically, you've kind of cut a deal with Moodle that Moodle Workplace will still be supported and whatnot. I mean, is it just now you're going to lock a whole bunch of people in a hacker room and, figure out how to close some gaps? Like, I guess maybe a two-part question. One, what are the gaps that Learnbook has that Moodle Workplace is? And like, can you give me like the 3 to 5 big ones? And then two, the statement said, we're going to work our tails off in order to close those gaps. So what's the process there?
Yeah, so several questions on that. So the biggest gaps are, so just to be really clear, Learnbook is fully functional. It's used by more than 400. There's probably more people in the world using Learnbook than now Open LMS Work than there are using Moodle Workplace, just because it's been around longer. It's got a lot of functionality that doesn't exist in Moodle for Workplace, and it has functionality that does exist in Moodle for Workplace, but some of that functionality is implemented differently, right? So one example is multi-tenancy. Learnbook has multi-tenancy capabilities, but it does it by linking together multiple sites in a way that allows you to operate in a multi-tenant way. And some people can't do that for very specific reasons. So there's some work to do on things like multi-tenancy. There's a thing in Moodle Workplace called dynamic rules. It's actually very, related to technology that we're open sourcing next week as part of our roadmap for open sourcing, called Personalized Learning Designer, where you can set specific learning paths for users and these types of things. So the feature gap is not as big as most people think. There are some deltas there. It's often just it does it in a different way, and so one of the things that we're going to work with these clients that want to switch to Open LMS Work is just on a migration path and kind of retraining and making sure that you know how to do that. But then they're on an open source platform and they're not going to have these types of issues going forward. So that's the thing. I mean, yes, to be really clear, we're not allowed to lock our developers in a room and make them shove Mountain Dew and pizza through the door. That's illegal in almost every country, as far as I know. But we have a great team of developers. We actually have, right now we have about 22 open positions. Not all those are developers, but I think there's about 12 or 13 open development positions. But the team is raring to go. They've been working on this stuff already, and we're gonna keep plowing forward. We've committed to our Moodle Workplace clients that if they want to switch to Open LMS Work, by the end of 6 months, we'll have them in a feature parity state. We're confident that we'll be able to do that. And so, here we go. And the community might help us out as well, right? These things are all going to be out there in the public. And if people want to build on top of them, they can do that for their own benefit and then share that back with us. We'd love that.
What's your, and tell me if this is too controversial for this conversation, but what's this say to Moodle, other Moodle partners? I know that Open LMS was, you left being a Moodle partner 5 years ago. eThink and eCreators, they left the partnership, recently with the acquisition by TLG. Is this communicating a message to Moodle of some kind that other partners are looking at, or I mean, maybe not intentionally? Or
I don't know. And to be clear, I think it's actually worse than that for me. I think I've been moved out of the Moodle partnership about 6 times, because remember we had Novell Siete and Remote Learner UK, and so it was. I think I've been removed.
You're the breakup artist, Phil.
Yeah, it's not you, it's me. Is maybe the thing, but I don't, we're not trying to make a statement to anybody other than to our clients, really, that we think this is the right thing to do. There are, I mean, even if you go out on the Moodle forums and stuff, let me back up. As I always say, and I continue to believe, Moodle is an amazing project, and what it has done for education has been remarkable. And we should never, we should never talk about it in any other way than that. There are questions, even in the Moodle forums and stuff, about what happens with Moodle for Workplace. Is all of that going to go back into the pure open source element, or does what parts of that are required for the commercial things that Martin wants to do for the Moodle company? But for us, that's just noise, right? I mean, we're just going to move forward. We're going to keep building great software, delivering great service to our clients, and we think that our clients are going to respond really, really well to that.
Any has there been any pushback from current clients about like what's the biggest fear from a client right now that?
Well, listen, so let's for 99% of our clients, there's no issue, no change. This is an overwhelmingly positive thing for them. It just gives them more control over their future. They had 97% control over their future, and now they have 100%, or whatever you want to say there. I mean, I'll say I was heartbroken, that we didn't get a deal done with Moodle, and the fact that the team right now is on the phone with Moodle Workplace clients telling them, we're sorry, you can't use this product that you wanted to use and serviced by us, and we've got to move you somewhere else. That's heartbreaking, because we sold them a product, and we that was the right product for them, and we still believe that that's the case. And because of a licensing issue or whatever, what the reasons I don't fully understand, that Martin doesn't want us to participate in that, we're not able to do that, and that's heartbreaking. Those are conversations that our team is having, and it's hard. But it is what it is now, and we're gonna just keep pushing forward, and we'll get through this. There'll be a period of kind of weirdness, I think, for those 47 clients, but for everybody else, I don't think there's really any impact to what they do on a daily basis.
Super cool. This is an interesting announcement. I'm really interested to follow. I know Christy and I are both going to be really interested to follow. How this continues to play out over the next, let's say, 6 months here.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts? Any closing words you'd like to put out in the universe there?
No, just I mean, I would just encourage people. I mean, Dean's going to be doing a blog post, I think, on Monday or Tuesday, that will give more development guidance for if you want to interact with us and participate in driving this code forward. Here's how to do it. We made a specific choice not to just open source everything, because we wanted to make sure that things were documented and that we were prepared to, we want to be able to actually support the community, not just dump a bunch of code and hope for the best. So you'll see this stuff roll out over the next weeks and months. But yeah, give us feedback. We want to hear what the community has to say about it, and we're excited about it. This is, like I said, it's you and I talked about this on one of our last calls. The idea that you're kind of like a startup, even though you've got hundreds of clients or thousands of clients, but you get to make some decisions that somebody else decided 10 years ago, and now you get to rethink those decisions. It's pretty fun. And the last thing I'll say is, I'm just delighted by the team and what they've done. I'll just give one example that I want to highlight very publicly. There's a group of folks led by Dean Saunders who built Learnbook over many years. And in the last few months, as we've been headed down this path, they've trusted the rest of Open LMS that they're now a part of with their baby, right? They built this thing, and now we're rebranding it Open LMS Work. We're open sourcing it. We're altering its roadmap. And they've been wonderful about it. Dean and Sally and guys like Trevor Hutt. They're just the team is amazing. And it's not just the folks that in Australia, the folks from eThink, et cetera. Like, all of us are adapting to this new world of being one company, and being an integrated team. And it's so fun to see people just react and respond to that. And so I just wanted to specifically call out to those folks that have given so much code, to the eThink people that gave so much money to the Moodle project. We're very proud of all those contributions, and I just wanted to say thank you to them.
Sounds great. Sounds like there's a great team. I'm excited to see what other curveballs you're going to throw for us here in the, it's only February. You know that, right?
It is. It is. Yeah, but the sun is out. I can see it's bright and warm, but I still have a giant pile of snow off to the side of my driveway here. So we're in that weird state. Now you're not, but the rest of us in the north are. So yeah, summer's here. Maybe we'll do something fun this summer.
Super cool. Thanks a lot, Phil Miller, Executive Director, Open LMS. Thank you for your time today, and we'll look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Steven.